What is happening today, traders? Welcome back to another episode of Trades. In today's stock ticker, we are going to be going over AMC. Gotcha. You thought I was stuck and frozen. Maybe you clicked off, maybe you didn't. But today we're going to be going over stock ticker AMC and the Bollinger Band theory that I have. Before we get into any of that, though, I just want to say thank you to every single subscriber that I've had. I've slowly been able to build momentum and to gain 8 followers on YouTube, 8 subscribers. And I want to say thank you to every single one of you, particularly one user called B4 Dreams. B4 Dreams was one of my first subscribers, and he was the first one to comment in my description box, comment box, whatever you want to call it, but he has been frequently supporting the channel, so thank you, B4 Dreams. I appreciate it. And this community, this channel is going to be building a retail investor community, and so I want this to be the platform for people to learn, for people to critique, for people to grow. I want it to all be free. I want to be the starter of something. I want this to be a home for a real positive community that does better for your average day person. So once again, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Let's get into the video on AMC Bollinger Bands. So we're going to be going over the daily, the weekly, and then the monthly. And I want you guys to think of what each phase means. So here on the daily, right? If you don't know, the Bollinger Bands created by John Bollinger were made to be as a type of squeeze indicator. They are what's coined as the squeeze bands, right? And we know with AMC's short interest being the highest it's been in about 6 months at 15%, in this 100% move, you are now retesting the bottom, or about to be retesting the bottom of the squeeze bands. Now, to put into perspective, the daily Bollinger Bands down here on May 14th, that is probably the tightest I've ever seen them. And from that move, super, super tight Bollinger Bands, you had a 53% move. So not quite 100, but it was a 53% move, which is tremendous. And that's on the daily. Let's pull up a couple different examples so that can give you guys perspective on why they're called the squeeze bands. This is another good one, right? You had just this agonizingly long consolidation during that court case of APE and AMC conversion. And this was the tightest it was in the range. And this was a type of squeeze. I mean, you had a 47% move in 4 days, which is absurd. That's atypical price action. That is not your norm. And you do see that price action, for the most part, does use the Bollinger Bands as a range to consolidate in. I mean, this was the bottom, goes to the top. This is the bottom, goes to the top. This is the bottom, goes to the top, right? And the tighter those Bollinger Bands are, it just indicates that price has been consolidating for quite some time. But you can see that it does it even back in the June squeeze, right? I mean, you really got into the pinnacle of this formation, bull pennant, bull flag, whatever you want to call it, and then you squeezed. So let's take that move. I mean, 756%. And I'm not saying that the Bollinger Bands is the reason that you're squeezing. It is just an indicator that is showing you that there is volatility a-coming. And in this case, volatility was a-coming. But that's the daily, right? I mean, before retail really got involved with the stock, you didn't see crazy amounts of volatility like you saw in June, right? Like you saw back here before you had this squeeze to the downside with 8. But retail is involved, and I think that we're about to get a lot more involved. I truly believe that once the Fed cuts rates, I think that small cap stocks, coins, crypto, I think a lot of it's going to go through a similar phase to 2021. And I think it's going to be stupidly nasty for a lot of people's portfolios, and a wake-up call to the stocks that have been phrased as zombie stocks. I hope so, because I personally would like to see these communities come back. For me, that was the most fun in trading I've ever had in my entire life, was where people, your average Joes, came in and they made money. But on the weekly here, let's look for an example, right? That was the tightest you'd seen the Bollinger Band since your move down in November, which created the breakdown from the bull flag. This tightening of the Bollinger Bands back in August led to like absolute capitulation 1 month later. I'm not saying that that's going to happen. It is an indicator of volume and volatility. Let's see, another good indicator. I wasn't per se too tight though. This is a good one where it's absolutely squeezed tight. You go to the downside, right? Let's go into the monthly. And I want to give you guys perspective that if this tight Bollinger Bands created a 53% move on the daily, what is this going to do? What is that going to do? And there's no saying when that actually does happen. When it breaks out, what happens? Does it go up? Does it go down? There's no saying in what direction. And there's no saying when. I mean, we could trade sideways for another 6 months. That is a possibility. But if you had to wait 6 months for one of the stupidest moves on the stock's history you've ever seen before, that's the last time you had the monthly Bollinger Bands that tight, and you got annihilated. Down 88%. Obviously, you can't really have that move. I mean, you can, but you can't really have that move without AMC just going bankrupt. 88%. 30 cents. That would be ouch. Ouch. And so with the bands being this close to the monthly, it leads you to believe that there's going to be some squeeze-esque move. You have all these targets to the upside of gap fills that have not been filled yet. You have a double bottom on the monthly chart with high bullish volume and low bearish volume comparatively, right? You're creating an inside bar to the last monthly candle pattern, which would indicate further consolidation. Further consolidation means these bands go tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter until they don't. Until they just get absolutely stupid and you form this double pattern all the way up to 13, 17, 20. I mean, once you get past this range, I have no idea what's going to happen. But there's this ginormous price discrepancy here. And price historically in this range has not consolidated at all. It is like a magnet. It is like a price magnet to either 40 or 12. Happened back here with this double bottom accumulation pattern, and it is, in my opinion, not financial advice at all. I'm just a retail trader who likes to take risk and has a thesis on this stock that is very popular that no one's talking about. That this is going to be a double bottom big fat, you know what it is, George W. It's my guy. Up to this $13 to $40 range. High volume, high volatility. I believe that this could be the most volatile move in the stock's history, because if you made that trade from $3 to $42, that is a 1,296% move. I'm not saying it's going to get there, but that would be the forecasted projection if you were to fill that gap fill at $42, $43, give or take. And so that's where you get into the positioning, and that's up to you guys. Do your own DD on what time you would get in. But I think we're slated for something stupid. And to me, the upside significantly weighs out the downside at this current juncture, at this current price, with the squeeze bands this tight, short interest climbing, Fed about to cut rates. I mean, there's so many things that could just cause this thing to go that I'm bullish. All right, that's it. Have a wonderful rest of your day, guys. Enjoy time with your family. Go outside, touch grass, and peace.